Dramatic change in the Muslim world.
From Bahrain to Egypt, women have raised their voices and their fists in demanding universal rights.
People of all backgrounds can make a difference.
My sisters in solidarity.
There has never been a better time than now to turn the tide.
We need a whole army of women helping other women.
We will speak up for our rights, and we will bring change through our voice.
All right, folks, that's a scene from Anna Diaries, and joining us now is Raheel, Raza, Canadian author and activist, president of the Council for Muslims Facing Tomorrow. She's also author of the book Their Jihad, Not My Jihad, and she was featured in that wonderful film Anna Diaries, which groups like CARE unfortunately successfully got closed down in certain places, and it's about women's rights. Features 9 courageous women, women's rights advocates who had first-hand connections to Muslim majority societies where women are not treated too well. And hello, Raheel, good to talk to you.
Hello, thank you for having me on the program.
Well, it's my pleasure. All right, let's talk about what's going on. Breaking news today, 150 more dead in another Nigerian village at the hands, reportedly, of Boko Haram. And, you know, I chuckle when they call them Islamic extremists or whatever they call them. I mean, they're terrorists, obviously. The kidnapping of the girls, the killing of the people, and what they've done in the past. They're not you know, some radical faction. They're terrorists.
Absolutely, yes.
All right. So tell me what your take is on first of all, this group. Tell us who they are exactly.
Well, the Boko Haram is a terrorist group, as you very correctly say, and their name means that they are opposed to anything that is Western. They think that being Westernized, Western education, or any kind of Western connection is a sin, and they've taken upon themselves to punish and kill those people who are involved in education, for example. These poor innocent girls were kidnapped only because they were in a school and they were getting educated. And, you know, they're rightly called terrorists because they have certainly created terror in the hearts of the whole world, it seems, because nobody wants to speak out. People are scared. The Nigerian president has said that he is scared. But this is horrific that people, the global community, the first world would be scared of a group of terrorists who are continuing to terrorize people and massacre people and persecute Christians and, you know, no drone attacks on them. This is when drones should be used by the United States.
No, you're absolutely right. And of course, the U.S., France and the U.S. are sending people over there to try to help in search for the girls. There's been talks about, I don't know on what level, but there's been talks, at least in the media, speculation about special ops forces, how difficult it would be to find these girls and actually rescue them. But you're right. I mean, the people there certainly are afraid. And this has been going on. I mean, it wasn't until the kidnapping of the girls. Tell me about what it is in their belief system, their interpretation of Islam that tells them to go kidnap young girls and sell them off to marriage.
It's very hard to say that anybody would want to promote a horrific agenda like this, but certainly they have some convoluted understanding of Sharia laws in which they believe that they can do this because they are fighting against Western evil. What they don't accept or understand is that what they're doing is extremely evil, and then under certain aspects of Sharia law, they believe that they have the right to marry these girls or to sell them because they're treating them as slaves and they feel justified by doing this. So it's a very warped understanding of Sharia laws that they are implementing, which is why Sharia is such a frightening concept, and which is why Honor Diaries, the documentary, speaks about this oppression of women and wants to make people aware that these events actually do happen. So when organizations like CARE, who has been trying to close down screenings, what are they doing about this? Have they sent a delegation to Nigeria? They don't even want the conversation to take place. that there is oppression of women. So how are they going to take any action? And this is happening right under our eyes in the 21st century.
Well, what would you like to see? I mean, in your view, I'll get to the United States government in a second, because I haven't heard a boo from them until these girls were taken. But what would you like the Muslim communities within the United States and abroad to do? I mean, can't they rise up? Can't they somehow, I guess it's hard to form one group, but can't they, group after group after group, and even groups like CARE, which I wouldn't hold my breath, shouldn't it be incumbent upon them, any decent Muslim, and majority of Muslims certainly are decent, to stand up and go on the record condemning this?
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. There are thousands, if not a million, more than a million Muslims in the U.S. and North America totally. And yes, they should be out walking in the streets. They should be lobbying. They should be rallying. But organizations like CARE, who have an agenda, have scared them into silence. This is the big problem here. And what has happened is that they're scared because they've lost their moral compass and they can't differentiate between good and evil. I mean, if airing of a documentary is something that CARE has taken on to stop, how do you think that they're going to allow? They call themselves the spokespersons of the Muslim communities. They definitely don't speak for me. But, they have totally taken the world hostage. They've taken people hostage, and they scare them into silence. People are terrified because they, see what is happening in other parts of the world, and they don't speak out. So, yes, to come back to your question, all Muslims should be rallying for this cause. It's a global disaster. I mean, even if one girl had been kidnapped, it would have been bad, but this is more than 200. These are our sisters, our daughters. I mean, we should not be sleeping at night. We should be writing letters. We should be rallying our forces, and the Nigerian government should be held accountable. There should be pressure on them.
All right. Has the United States government done enough in along the lines you've just suggested, or in condemnation, or in the past leading up to this? Could this have been prevented if the United States had taken this group more seriously from the beginning?
I believe that enough has not been done, and definitely not in good enough time. So, platitudes and talking about having a dialogue, you can't have a dialogue with people who are evil, who are the devil incarnate. I say that these are people without a conscience who can't see their shadow. So with these people, what kind of a dialogue can I have? I'm from Pakistan. Can I have a dialogue with the Taliban? The only way they know how to deal with women is to shoot them in the face like they did to Malala Yousafzai. So there's no conversation there. There has to be action. There has to be pressure, international pressure. I mean, America is, the world's largest democracy. It is, a free country. It has got pressure on other countries. It can put pressure. But in this particular case, every day that goes by is a problem. They give aid to so many countries that are involved in many of these
and isn't this, Raheel, not to interrupt, but isn't this exactly what Boko Haram and any terrorist group just longs for and yearns for, this kind of international focus and attention and publicity and playing their videos? And, I mean, isn't this what they live for?
Yes. That's true, and so this does happen, and media unfortunately buys into this and plays into it. And
although it's important to talk about the plight of these girls and recognize who these people are and what they're doing at the same time, so it's kind of a you're darned if you do, you're darned if you don't.
Yes, but there are ways of doing it, and this is why I will bring you back to the documentary on her diaries, because here we've talked about atrocities committed against women, but we've done it in a way that there is a talk about action. There is an action plan that this is the problem and this is what we're doing about it. But if you can't even speak about the problem, according to some of these Islamist organizations, then how are we ever going to come to the solution? So there is this apologetic knee-jerk reaction that, oh, no, don't call them. I was just looking on the CARE website, and they have a press release there saying the un-Islamic acts of Boko Haram. Well, you can call them un-Islamic as much as you want, but Boko Haram thinks that they're doing this in the name of Islam. They think that, this is all acceptable. Yeah. So,
all right, listen,
this is
Raheel,
the problem.
And the Anna Diaries available all over the place? Is it still being shown?
Absolutely. Everybody should go to the website Anna Diaries, and they should download the film and see it and take action.
All right. I really appreciate you coming on, Raheel, Raza. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Take care. All right, folks. It's Just terrible, terrible. Could you imagine being a parent who lost a girl that way? We're going to talk about it on the panel. The Malzberg panel is next.